Hi there, this is the Kasparov Gambit trap. It's in the Queen's Gambit accepted. I don't know if Kasparov himself actually discovered this explosive line, but he gets the credit because he is Kasparov. d4 is met by d5 and c4 the Queen's Gambit. Black accepts with d takes on c4. e3 immediately wants to recover the pawn. After knight f6, bishop takes on c4. Black develops in the center with e6, releasing the king's bishop, and knight f3 is met by c5, defended by the bishop on f8. After white castles an a6, black is intending b5 here. So bishop b3, the bishop preempts and drops back to b3, and after b5 now a4 is played, trying to disrupt black's queenside pawn structure. So the pawn can march on to b4. Now after knight b d2, black develops the bishop to that hole now on b7, and we've reached a very interesting position here. White could continue with moves like a5, fixing the black's a pawn, gaining space on the queen side, or knight c4 certainly has its merits, but the line we're looking at now is this Gambit line, which Kasparov and many other top GMs have played. e4, pawn in the center. Now black should continue with c takes on d4 with around equality, but we're going to be looking at the capture here on e4 when black actually takes that pawn up for grabs. Well, black will presumably take knight takes on e4. Black could also take with the bishop. Bishop takes on e4. But both captures are losing for black. White is actually winning in all lines here. After knight takes on e4, white recaptures knight takes on e4. Bishop takes on e4. And rook e1 hits the bishop. So the bishop's going to drop back to d5 here. White's going to develop the bishop from c1, gaining time with a hit on the queen. Bishop g5, and how can black respond to that? Well, let's just have a look first at the capture on b3 first. After queen takes on b3, bishop e7 is going to defend the black queen, which was being hit and developing a piece at the same time, to which white could respond with rook a d1 or d5, and all the pieces are involved here. After bishop takes on g5, now rook a d1, so white now is temporarily a piece down but with an overwhelming position. If black now castles, then we'll see d takes on e6, hitting the queen now on d8, and if queen f6, then knight takes on g5, queen takes on g5, and pushing the pawn to e7. I won't continue this variation, but this is going to be winning for white, because after rook e8 we'll have moves like rook d8, which is going to certainly be winning for white. We back up a little bit here, and instead of castles, let's have a look at queen e7. Well, queen e7 will be met by d takes on e6. The threat now is e takes on f7, and the queen's going to be lost. And if f6 is played, then rook d7. That's a fine winning line here for white. So let's just back up again and go back to this position here. So instead of bishop takes on b3, how about bishop e7? Again, white's going to be winning with bishop takes on e7. If queen takes on e7, then bishop takes on d5, and it's all over. Black can't recapture because of rook takes queen. And if king takes on e7, that looks miserable because of d takes on c5, releasing the queen, hitting d5 at the same time. So black's going to have to take on b3. But after queen takes on b3, rook e8, I think white here is winning after rook a d1 hitting the queen, and when the queen moves over to c8 or c7, Perhaps not easy to find, but knight g5 releases the f3 square. The queen is coming, hitting a8, going to hit f7 as well, certainly winning for white. So as we back up again, we're in this position here, and if black tries f6, then d takes on c5 is winning again for white, because the bishop now on d5 is being targeted twice, with the pawn on e6 being pinned by the rook on e1, and white is winning in this variation as well. So we've looked at the very dynamic Kasparov Gambit trap in the Queen's Gambit Accepted, in which taking the pawn on e4 leads to black's downfall. And hope you found this useful. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.